for anyone else who maybe is out there that he has been a victim of his or anyone else's. This may be a key in leading them towards some type of closure and apprehension and justice for those loved ones, as well as the community down here can rest a little easier and be safer, sleep better, knowing that this person isn't on the streets wondering what's going to happen next if someone else is their next victim in their family. We still have a lot of answers that we're looking for. We're concerned for the safety on the naval base here. We're concerned for the safety in the community. If this was allowed to occur on a naval base, it can happen anywhere. If anything, you expect someone to be safe in a military area, especially on the installation. And in this case, I feel that, well, we're concerned. We're concerned for the safety for all the soldiers, the civilians, the dependents, everyone in this area, as well as on the installations down here.
First and foremost, I'm staying firm on what I believed out throughout this whole ordeal, that God is a provider. I mean, God is going to do, as He said He's going to do. Grateful. I'm grateful that we're right where we're at right now. I mean, we have a little bit more. The race is not over. We still have justice to be served. But we want to just thank everybody for your love and support that you've shown us and our daughter. Because without you guys being willing to just open up every avenue to assist us in coming to a resolution. We're yet not at the complete resolution, but we're close to that. Once again, yeah, we do have some concerns. We do have some concerns about the base. As far as the security, the biggest thing for me is I go back to one of the conversations that Ashanti and I had was, Dad, the reason why I'm working on base was because I'll never be able to join the military because I have seizures. So this is my way of giving back to not only this country, but by me serving the soldiers. And that was the reason why I was like, okay, hey, it's cool. Being veterans, ourselves, we were like, hey, our daughter was in it's a safe environment, and that was our thing. We really felt comfortable with our daughter being on that base because we saw it as a safe environment. Unfortunately, it wasn't as safe as we thought. But once again, we just want to definitely thank everybody. Thank you guys for keeping this alive, keeping us just constantly on the news. Once again, it's bigger than Ashanti. It's our desire to find other, give resolution to some of the other families who don't have answers. And I say this part here, just as Mr. Brown, we got you. Everybody that's out there that's doing this, we're gonna come and get you. We're gonna get you. So if you continue to live this lifestyle, promise you, we're out to get you.
And for us, it doesn't stop here. We have the Ashanti Foundation, which we are in the midst of setting up. It should be up and running, hopefully online by the end of the month. It's to help families in this case, because when we came down here, we didn't know what to do, who to turn to. We want to be able to be a central focal point for parents, families, loved ones who have someone in a similar situation, be able to come to us. Hey, how do I get started? What do I do? How can I move forward? I'm stuck here. Because it's not a black issue. It's not a white issue. It's not red or brown. It's a person issue. This affects all of us. And we want to be able to tie all that in together so we can all come together and work as one. Because unfortunately, right now, the political climate that we have isn't conducive to that. And we want to make sure that we are helping to do something to make it better for everyone involved. Because no one should have to go through this. No one at all.
What was your reaction when you started to hear some of the details from reading through that criminal complaint? It's like a horror story.
It is. It's a nightmare. Ashanti was 4'11". She's small. She's very little. And to think that someone of that size, or just a person, period, would assault her, it's disturbing. Because I feel like he preyed on her. And then I go back to the young lady and her daughter missing as well. She's about the same size as Ashanti. Was she preyed upon as well because of her size? Is there some type of similarity between the two? Something linking the two together? I don't know. But I feel like that's something that should be addressed and looked into further, especially now at this point that we have someone in custody.
Yeah, definitely, because as you read, you find a sense of premeditated. That he was coming into the Blimpies and At that point in time, there should have been a red flag for someone, you know, to know that this gentleman was showing up daily at Blimpies. And my question was he buying something? You know, was he buying something every day? So it was premeditated. It was premeditated. He mapped out, he scoped it out, you know, that this is was his plan. Me, myself, I truly believe this is not a first. This is not a first. But I'm grateful to have him off the streets, so this won't happen to nobody else. We, you know, as far as parents, we have done our job. We've done our job to have the person that did this to our daughter in capture.
How do you guys feel like the investigation is going?
We're thankful to the FBI, NCIS, local Norfolk and Virginia Beach police departments for what they did do. We feel like it's moving forward. If I have to be honest with myself, I would say this has moved fast. It's moved rapidly. Could it have moved faster? Yes. But did it move at a rapid pace? Yeah, it moved a lot faster than a lot of other cases have. So we feel good, I think I can say, with some of the things and where we're at right now. But now it's time to really get down to the details. What happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? How was it allowed to happen?
And as veterans, you know, it's like a brotherhood, a sisterhood. You're supposed to watch out for one another, to know another veteran.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. We like I said, all the W's have been answered. It's the H, the how, is what we're looking for. Yeah, that really, to know that it was a veteran, a retired veteran, that was very heart-wrenching. We knew from the initial that the base, the base was involved in somehow. Not saying the base itself, but there was either a soldier or, because once again, you have to have an ID card to be on the base. And that time of morning, you know, I don't think a civilian is just gonna, you know, find their way to seek their way to sneak up on base that time of morning. So we definitely knew that it was someone of military background to do this, and continue to ask the questions. You know, how is it that this guy was able to roam around base? We understand that, yeah, you have an ID card and it allows you to be on base, but who was patrolling? Who was doing these security measures? You know, to make sure that, hey, here's this guy who's on base, and you know, he doesn't really have a reason to be there. You know, yeah, you got a card, and that card allowed you, entitled you to be on base, but you didn't have housing. You know, you didn't have those things that would say this is the reason why I'm on base. You know, you're retired. You should have had a home outside of base. Yeah, there's concerns about the patrol. You know, are you guys out there looking? You know, this gentleman has been on base, you know, for these days. Yeah, y'all pretty much scanned his ID card to come in, you know, and on these different days, you know, and he left and came back, you know. Questions, you know, those are the questions that we have.
What was it like to see his face? You know, someone that you had been searching for and looking for, and then to actually see his face. What was that like?
Never actually pictured what he looked like beforehand, or what they looked like. To see it, it's like it's looking at a monster, an animal. I don't even see a person when I look at him. I see an animal. I do, just evil.
My concerns were a little bit different, because I had questions. When you look at that video, in my appearance, the person that was in that video was of a lighter. You know, to see that it was a dark person, I mean, it made me question, is there somebody else involved? To see his face, to see this guy as a father who served and once again provided freedom for this country, I felt helpless to know that this gentleman took advantage of my daughter. I wasn't there for my daughter. I know my daughter probably had cried out for her father, because I've always been there. Not taking anything from her mom, but she's always known that, hey, Dad's he's the go-to guy. It was my job to be there. When she came in and encountered this guy as a father, it was my job to be there. And I failed, I fell short on that. I fell short on that. But my job is now to get resolution for her. You know, I wasn't able to be there for her in the beginning, but I will be here to make sure that for that solid end. That's our job.
What do you make of his claim that he doesn't remember anything for several days?
I personally don't believe it. I don't believe it. He had enough conscience to do everything else around there, to Google searches beyond that, to drive to Charlotte, to drive back, park the vehicle, to start walking around looking for things. No, I don't believe it. It's an excuse. We're both veterans. There's nothing he can say that he's been through that we haven't been through. One of us, or two of us at least, have been through. So I fail to believe it. I think he's just using it as a cover-up.
No belief in that. My man, you were strategic in Googling, and you knew where your home was. You knew how to take her back down to North Carolina. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You can't tell me that you blacked out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And with me saying that, show me a history that you blacked out. Show me that throughout your Navy career that you went and got seen because you had these issues of blacking out. You don't sell me that.
And if you did have a history of it, why were you working on base? How were you able to get clearance to work with the contracting company on base if you have this mental history? So no, we failed to believe it. It's false.
Yeah, definitely. And my thing is, someone said something about the PTSD or whatever. There, look here, I'm not giving you no type of op for you to try to do an insanity plea or a crazy plea. I'm not looking for none of that. That's where you're trying to gear your way to. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You know exactly what you were doing. You preyed upon an innocent young lady who happened to be my child, and that was the biggest mistake that you made. Promise you.
Can you put into words what this, from the time that we first spoke all the way to now, what this has been like?
It's something you're not supposed to go through. It's something no parent should have to go through at all. You see it on TV. It's something a drama or a movie's made of. It's not real life. It's not our reality, but unfortunately we're having to live it as if it is. It's terrifying.
It's no description. It's no description. I cannot sit here and explain to you the worstest day of my life, and that would not even equate to what this has been. To know that you have birthed a child and you have raised her just as the Bible say, to do the right things, and I mean, you talk and you're instilling, hey, be safe, be careful, save yourself for marriage, doing all these things, and here it is, someone who decides to invoke his will on her. He's taken all that from her, and he's taken that from us. You've taken the steps to walk down the aisle on the wedding day. You've taken away grandchildren. You've taken away a future. My daughter who had she had great plans to be somebody positive in this community. You took that. You could have taken it, and I look at the picture big. Yeah, she talked about being a culinary, but you have taken someone who had a desire to save someone else's life. And that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I go back to, you're a human, I understand that, but you're a soldier. We're trained. We're geared up to different regulations and respect. You're trained differently. Your job is to protect this country, to protect every life. And you took the freedom of my child. You took her life. And it's unacceptable. Highly unacceptable.
How does it feel to be back here when you all had left? You were going back to bury your daughter, spend some time, but now you're back at least, and I know it's just the beginning, but you're here with at least one part of your answer. How is that going for you? Is it hard to make this trip back down here?
I didn't want to come. I honestly didn't want to come back down here at all, because I associate this area, even through all the great things the community did for us, I associate with the loss of our daughter, because this is where she was. So it's hard for me coming back down here, because she was happy here, she liked it here, and to think that this is where it ended for her. I didn't want to come back.
The charges in this case, it's an abduction here. They've got the murder charge in North Carolina. The only way that can happen is if she was killed in North Carolina. What's that like to know that she was alive for those hours?
Well, right now, we're not sure exactly of the location of her death. The kidnapping charge that the FBI has, the federal charge, it's an umbrella, and it can also cover murder charges as well. By her body being found in North Carolina, I believe that's where the murder charge came from. But as of right now, we're not sure the exact location of her death. Exactly. We can't pinpoint that. We haven't been given that information, and I don't believe they have it yet.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I understand the kidnapping, the murder charge, but there's more charges. You know, what about human trafficking? We crossed the line. We took her from one state to another state. You know, we're talking about sexual assault. You know, we're talking about abuse. You know, so I understand that we have these two charges, but there are more charges that, to me, that is written to this guy. You know, and for me, I'm looking to stack every charge that we can put on him. You know, I'm not going to accept just the murder charge or the kidnapping, because you did more than just murder and kidnap. You did a lot. You did a lot. So we're pushing for the utmost and the highest. I mean, for me, and some folks have reached out to me and said, well, what is your take on this? You're standing firm on God, and what is your take? Me, myself, I believe in God. I trust God. I have faith. My belief right now is I want your life, and I won't allow God to deal with you. But I want your life. I want His life. That's where I'm at.
Years from now, you know, when people hear the name Ashanti Billie and they see that smile, what do you want people to think about?
Her generosity, her playfulness, her goofiness, who she was, always helping somebody. There was a time we were in Walmart at home, and a gentleman, he passed out his sugar level. He's diabetic. And she rushed over there. I was with her. We rushed over there to help him, you know, trying to call 911, and we stayed with him until then. So just who she was as a person, that's Ashanti. No one has anything negative to say about her, and that's what we want to remember.
For me, simply put it, it's the rainbow after the storm. That's who Ashanti was. The rainbow after the storm. We look for that rainbow, and that's what I want you guys to remember her. The rainbow after the storm, because we had to go through a storm in order for this rainbow to come out.
And may I ask, I'm sorry to take it back here, but a couple of follow-ups. The first one being, the court documents don't explicitly say that she was sexually assaulted, but is it your understanding, because of the state of undress, that may have been what happened?
Absolutely. I don't think, because however you look at it, once you remove articles of clothing and it reveals a sexual part, that's sexual assault. So if you took off the underwear, it was by her head or whatever, yeah, that's what it is.
And did she ever talk about anybody bothering her in that way? And how do you feel about this implication that she may have been targeted because of her race? The man saying that he didn't like African American women and things of that nature.
First and foremost, one of the things about our daughter, as far as her mentioning to us, we taught her to handle things at your level. If it exceeds you, then definitely you know who to come to. So at that point in time, she never mentioned it to either one of us, because at that point in time, we all can become complacent and think that, hey, we're good. And then when, like I say, once again, we go back to the base. I'm in a safe environment, so hey, I got there's watchful eyes. Now the thing feeling that she was targeted because of her race, that's crazy. That's sloppy. That's sloppy. I mean, that's your belief. That's crazy. That's crazy. A life is a life. That's not your reason to do, to press your will of somebody just because you don't like them. If you don't like them, don't deal with them. Don't deal with them.
Is there anything that you'd like to add about where we are now and where we're going forward with at this point?
We're just moving forward with the investigation. What else is going to come out? What hasn't been revealed yet? Is there anyone else that's involved in it? Just moving forward from that point, has he been involved in any other crimes in the area? So that's where we are right now, trying to move forward with as much information and as fast and as thorough as possible.
And are you taking the car home today?
Yes, we are.
Yes. As far as it goes for me, It's so much. It's so much. Out of all this, I'll keep referring back to just honestly thanking everybody. We didn't get here by ourselves. One of the biggest persons I really, of course, Miss Kimberly Winbush has been great and awesome. And I had to reflect, Miss Regina Mobley was, oh my goodness, she implemented this because she told me she's very instrumental. From the get-go, she kept saying, Tony, it's the base. It's the base. It's the base. It's the base. And her willingness and her just continue to push it. Tony, focus on the base. I promise you. I think my concern is the base, the base, the base. So our eyes and our spotlight remains on the base. And once again, we as her mom and I, we did our little only investigative. We looked at the video. We looked at we were putting things together on our own, and we came to the conclusion in the beginning that it was the base. It was the base. Moving forward, definitely we're moving forward because we want to help others. We definitely want to help others. We know that this whole situation initially started off about Ashanti, but it's bigger than Ashanti now. We still have missing young people. We have people that's coming up missing daily. And this United States, we need to really focus on the things that are important here. Once again, I'm going to always hold accountable everyone that's from higher up on down. We got to stop focusing on these non-essential things. We got to stop focusing on the fact that a young man wants to kneel down during the national anthem. We got to remember, this young man was paid to entertain. That's his job. He was paid to entertain, But we have people what we need to be focusing on is we have folks that are coming up missing during the national anthem. Are we worrying about that? We worrying about that. My thing is, let's get our priorities straight. Because once again, I will say this, until this hit your front door, until this hit your home, you never know what this is like.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.